Coming up next at 5, right here on WJZ, 3 major rulings in the Freddie Gray case. I'm Mary Bubala with the late breaking details.
A key ruling from a Baltimore judge on whether the 6 officers accused in the Freddie Gray case should face trial together or separately. I'm Derek Valcourt with the breaking news from the courthouse, coming up on Eyewitness News.
Today's ruling feels like justice is on the way. That's the reaction from Freddie Gray's neighbors. I'm Gigi Barnett. A live report is coming up.
Maryland Senator Barbara Mikulski seals the deal. I'm Pat Warren. Coming up on Eyewitness News, why Mikulski's decision to vote in favor of the Iran nuclear agreement means a victory for the president.
Eyewitness News at 5 starts right now.
This is WJZ TV, Baltimore.
In your community, where you live. Now, it's WJZ, Maryland's news station.
Critical decisions. A judge dismisses key motions in a Freddie Gray hearing.
The impact on the case against the 6 city officers. Hello, I'm Jessica Cartalia, and Mary Bubala is live at City Hall, where a judge has issued major rulings in the Freddie Gray case today. Hi, Mary.
Yes, Jessica, we are following breaking news. As we started this day, we had no idea that we would have all these decisions this fast, but there is a lot to get to. WJZ has complete coverage in this Freddie Gray case. Gigi Barnett is in West Baltimore talking with the community. Marcus Washington has been outside the courtroom where he's talking with demonstrators, but we are going to go straight to Derek Valcourt and Megan McCorkle with the latest on what just happened from the judge. Derek?
Well, a judge has ruled that all 6 of the officers in the Freddie Gray case should be tried separately. Now, it is unclear what the prosecution's motives were, but they originally said they wanted to try 3 of the 6 officers separately and the other 3 officers together as one unit. But today, the judge was not having it. Officer Cesar Goodson drove the van Freddie Gray was transported in after his arrest, and he faces the most serious charge, depraved heart murder. Prosecutors wanted to put him on trial at the same time as 2 other officers charged in the case. One, Freddie Gray's arresting officer, Edward Nero, who faces a second-degree assault charge, and the other, Sergeant Alicia White, a police supervisor charged with involuntary manslaughter. But the judge ruled the evidence that could be presented against Officer Cesar Goodson would be unfairly prejudicial to Sergeant White and Officer Nero, and ruled they should not be tried together. Now, this ruling leaves it unclear when each of the defendants will get their own trial dates. Those dates should be scheduled in the days and weeks to come. And there were other motions heard in court today. Joining me now, my colleague Megan McCorkle. Megan, the judge had a lot to hear today.
Yeah, he certainly did. And while this latest ruling was especially a win for the defense, there were some big wins for the prosecution this morning. 2 pretrial motions denied by the judge, including one to throw out the charges against the officers altogether.
We have probable cause to file criminal charges.
This May 1st press conference with State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby at the center of today's arguments in the trial of 6 officers accused in the death of Freddie Gray.
Did the officers, were they cooperative with your investigation?
Yes.
All 6?
No, they gave a statement, and I can't get too far into the facts of this case.
With that answer, defense attorneys claim Marilyn Mosby released vital evidence in the case, jeopardizing the officers' ability to get a fair trial. Today in court, Judge Barry Williams told prosecutors that's inappropriate and you know it. But he ruled it was not enough to warrant the dismissal of charges against all 6 officers.
This judge is particularly good at cutting through all of the fat and getting to the meat of the case.
The defense also pushed to have Mosby's entire office thrown off the case, arguing they can't serve as both investigators in Gray's death and prosecutors. Another motion denied by the judge.
I think the defense strategy has been clear from the outset here. It's to try to rid themselves of Miss Mosby's prosecution team and to move the case outside of Baltimore.
The motion to move the case to a different jurisdiction will be argued next week, though legal experts say it does not appear the judge is leaning that way.
I think the judge gave every indication that the Baltimore criminal justice system is ready to take on these cases.
Cases that will be heavily scrutinized nationwide.
And none of the 6 officers are in court today. All 6 had filed waivers with the court, so they did not have to show up. Mary, back to you at City Hall.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. What happened inside that courtroom was anticipated and waited and watched by our entire city. Some of those decided to come out even before the hearing started and have a demonstration. Marcus Washington has been talking with them all day. There was 1 arrested and an officer injured. Marcus, tell us about that.
Well, Mary, this is where those protesters began their protesting this morning, starting around 8 o'clock. And then from here, they walked over to the Inner Harbor, and that's where 1 man was arrested and an officer injured.
And we are tired of it!
A protest meant to stand outside the courthouse where hearings on the pretrial motions of Freddie Gray case are argued.
Freddie Gray getting after that!
With little warning, protesters are on the move, no one knowing where the protest would end.
Why was it so important for you to take off from where we were and start walking through the streets of downtown Baltimore?
Because I have children, cousins, nieces and nephews, and I fear for my life because of the color of my skin, and I don't like it.
In the streets.
For blocks, protesters walk in the middle of downtown streets during morning rush hour traffic.
Now we've left the courthouse and now we're on Calvert Street approaching Pratt. Protesters said they wanted to make noise throughout the streets. As you can see, they have not blocked off traffic in this area. So really, people are just moving, getting their voices out, wanting to be heard. At Pratt and North Calvert, a human barricade putting traffic at a standstill, putting officers on alert.
Hold your line!
In the mist, a man is arrested by officers for blocking the road and failure to leave when asked by officers.
They threw him down, cuffed him, and when I came up to look at him, they were holding a taser on his back. I don't know if they were letting it off, but there was four cops on one guy.
We've made 1 arrest for a person who chose not to protest peacefully, and he assaulted a police officer, and the police officer escaped with minor injuries.
The mission stated by protesters are to have all officers stand trial, no change of venue, and Baltimore City State's attorneys stay on the case.
I feel like they murdered him here in Baltimore City, so they should be tried here in Baltimore City.
Now, protesters have planned to come back to this location around 6 o'clock tonight. We're still waiting. We haven't seen many people show up yet, but they plan on coming back here. Reporting live tonight here outside of the courthouse in Marcus, Washington. Back to you, Mary.
All right, Marcus, thank you so much. Really a sigh of relief from many people in our city that the protests have been peaceful so far. Right now, WJZ Complete coverage continues. Gigi Barnett spoke with people in West Baltimore getting their reaction to what happened in court today. Gigi?
Well, that's right, Mary. Folks here in this community say they have been watching the action in the courtroom very closely. And some of today's rulings feel like justice may be on the way soon. Not just for Freddie Gray, they say, but for this entire neighborhood.
We need some closure. Yes, we do.
Freddie Gray's neighborhood, Gilmore Homes. Murals mark where he lived and died. His neighbors say today's ruling gives them power.
Come on now. The guy was killed. They have to go to court.
The case against the 6 officers charged in his death goes on.
Good.
Marilyn Mosby stays on the case.
Very good.
That God is good. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Praise the Lord. Yes. Praise the Lord.
The judge's decision sparked a mini celebration for some neighbors.
We have went down to the courthouse and things like that for Freddie Gray, talked to the lawyer. We have been supporting.
But their fear, a different ruling could have brought more riots.
I'm kind of scared, but
I'm scared, but, you know.
That's where we live at.
So many people was waiting to see the police get away again like nothing has been done.
But today's ruling is something that feels a lot like justice.
Because they've been getting away with stuff so long, and that's all people want, justice.
Well, now as we learn that the officers will stand trial individually, neighbors say that's not exactly what they wanted. They wanted them to stand trial together because as one woman told me, she said that they allegedly committed the crime together. She says they should all go down together. We're live. I'm Gigi Barnett. Back to you, Mary.
All right, Gigi, thank you. And coming up at 5:30, we're going to talk with a legal analyst, get his take on what it's going to be like for our city if the trials stay here to try these officers separately and how that all works. Stay with WJZ for complete coverage as we continue to follow the Freddie Gray case. WJZ will bring you the latest developments from inside and outside the courtroom and continue to track the ongoing demonstrations. More coverage continues, but for now, back to you.
Mary, thank you. Maryland Senator Barbara Mikulski says she'll vote yes for the Iran nuclear agreement. That gives the president the votes that he needs to make sure that the plan moves forward. WJZ is live. Pat Warren has more on the significance of Mikulski's decision. Pat?
That's right, Jess. Barbara Mikulski's vote is number 34, that magic number the Obama administration needs to make sure the Republicans don't kill the deal. Both sides of the Iran nuclear debate have been naming names in the quest for support for their positions.
You've seen no rush to a lot of people following anyone's lead on this, so it's an individual call.
Today, Senator Barbara Mikulski made hers. She will vote in favor of the deal, giving President Obama the 34 Senate votes he needs to prevent Republicans from scrapping the agreement. In her statement released today, the retiring senior senator from Maryland says her approach was to weigh the interests of the U.S. and Israel, take an extensive review of the agreement itself, and to ask tough questions. Having done that, she says she found the agreement to be the best option available to block Iran from having a nuclear bomb. I will vote in favor of this deal.
I will shortly make a decision.
Senator Ben Cardin is one of 10 Democratic senators who have yet to announce their positions on the agreement. He told a forum at Johns Hopkins University yesterday it's not an easy decision.
I think it's a tough call. When people say this is such an easy decision, why haven't you made it? I don't think it is an easy judgment call. I think there are high risks either way, going forward or not going forward.
Senator Mikulski, too, says she listened to her constituents, including leaders in the Jewish community. Congress must also reaffirm our commitment to the safety and security of Israel, she says. Meanwhile, the TV ads for and against the deal continue to encourage voters to make their opinions known to their lawmakers. And in response to Barbara Mikulski's announcement that she will vote in favor of the deal, Secretary of State Kerry says the Obama administration will continue to try to push past that 34 and get as many votes as possible. I'm Pat Warren reporting live now. Back to you, Jess.
All right, Pat, thank you. Congress goes back to work September 8th and has until September 17th to vote on a resolution supporting or rejecting that agreement.
Well, another very warm, humid evening in Maryland with temperatures once again in the 90s. Let's take a live look outside. A mix of sun and clouds right now. Could we see a break in this heat anytime soon? WJZ has first warning weather coverage. Meteorologist Chelsea Ingram and Bob Tucker updating conditions and temperatures. Bob?
All right, we have some thunder shower activity not too far west of us. Take a look at radar. Been tracking some activity in Frederick, Washington, and getting pretty close to the Carroll County line. A little bit extreme southwestern Carroll County. However, they do appear to be weakening just in the last 45 minutes or so. The bulk of this activity, however, is headed west and southwest of the Baltimore general region, heading down to Montgomery, western Howard County, maybe around Sykesville. We'll see that activity. It looks like it's going to be just about 25 or 30 miles west of the Baltimore region. So if you're in Howard, Frederick, Montgomery, or maybe portions of central or western Carroll County, particularly Frederick County, that's where you're going to see this activity over the next hour or two as it slides to the south and southeast. We're going to have another chance of these storms probably on Friday, and there'll be a big change headed away. Speaking of changes, let's take a look at tomorrow's forecast. Chelsea has a look ahead. Chelsea?
Well, not a whole lot of change as we head into tomorrow. It's going to be another hot one. Just hang in there because we do have some relief on the way. But take a look at this graphic. Another day with temperatures in the lower 90s. That heat is just going to persist across the region. Still, that chance will linger with an isolated shower in the forecast. But yes, some better changes heading our way as we head toward the end of the week. We'll have those details coming up in your exclusive first warning forecast. For now, sending it back to you.
Thank you, Chelsea and Bob. WJZ's weather app is now available for your phone or tablet. You can get hourly, daily, and extended forecasts and severe weather warnings wherever you are. Just search WJZ Weather on your phone or tablet and download the CBS Baltimore app.
Still ahead on WJZ Eyewitness News at 5. On the loose, 3 suspects are wanted after killing a police officer near Chicago. The latest on the continuing manhunt.
A new report could put speed cameras on the fast track here in Maryland and across the country. I'm Amy Yensi. Details next on WJZ.
I'm Alex Dimitrick, and coming up, a ceremony with full honors for former Maryland Governor Marvin Mandel. That story as Eyewitness News continues.
And taking a live look outside, summer is sticking around when we could see things cool down. Don't miss the updated first warning weather forecast with Bob and Chelsea coming up.
Complete coverage continues with Mary Buba, Jessica Cartalia, and first warning weather with Bob Turk, meteorologist Chelsea Ingram, and sports with Mark Viviano. It's WJZ, Maryland's news station.